So when you look at an agent, let's say, I would for a control plane overall for AI. I'm going to focus specifically on agents for a second, because I think a control plane for overall AI is something that enforces the secure configuration and deployment of each of those services, whether it's transcription service, summarization, traditional AI, or even um, Gen AI capabilities. The goal of the control plane is to ensure that those things are configured and deployed and utilized safely. I want to double click on the control plane specifically for agentic. When we look at agentic, and I think that's kind of what you're alluding to Manav, I think all of this we've built on top of our existing investments in RBC. So we know that AI as a whole is a very hybrid technology. You're not going to do this all on-prem. You're not going to do this all in cloud. There is a good mix of both capabilities. And luckily at RBC, and we've had the foresight to invest heavily on a hybrid cloud strategy. So hybrid cloud has allowed us to ensure we deploy and configure services, monitor drift, and manage cost and security and compliance. So so from a configuration perspective and deployment, we're heavily using our cloud investments. Now, when you speak about a control plane from an agentic perspective, what we're really seeing in the industry is we're seeing that the control plane and a lot of these agentic platforms that you're seeing come out now, they really focus and on controlling that experience from beginning to end. They're very consuming their end-to-end systems, and this kind of creates a bit of lock-in. So this is something we're very conscious of because you'll see you'll see from an agentic perspective, you'll have an agent builder, some low code, no code graphical UI that can allow you to create an agent. You're going to drag and drop that agent. You're going to give that agent some data source, maybe embed some files. You're going to give it an instruction. You're going to choose a model, and then you're going to connect it to some MCP servers, some tools. Those tools are part of that platform. That platform usually offers some tools, out of the box tools for you already.
So your platform. So now the picture emerges. So you basically what you have done is you've built a platform, and the platform is providing, I'll say, common capabilities like authentication, logging, monitoring, discovery of LLMs, right? Being able to, and you talked about the LLM gateway. That becomes a common way for you to, for the developers, consumers to find and use the LLMs, and then you're adding on top other controls for agentic AI as an example.
For sure, yeah, exactly. And when those agents connect to those MCP servers, we're going to connect through an MCP gateway. That ensures that those agents are authenticating with those MCP servers, and it also allows us to tightly manage the MCP servers that we have available in the organization. That's another control for us, right? And I was comparing this to the industry and the agentic platforms that come out. This is the standard approach you see is um, that agent builder allows you to create agents, connects to MCPs, servers and tools through some central MCP gateway, right? And that's one of our controls. Uh, the LLM, the central LLM gateway, that's another control. So we can limit, monitor, restrict access to large language models. Another control is once that agent is created, it's created in some registry so that we know about that agent. So now we have an inventory and we can stop and start and we can monitor that agent. Um, the other thing that you start seeing these platforms do is they deploy those agents to a common runtime environment. So that's very important because that allows us to tightly monitor what that agent is doing. We can now do that, and we're seeing a lot of platforms do this. You can now monitor that agent and see the traffic going in and out of that agent, and, and you can see what it's doing at the transport level. So we can see the messages, the TCP messages that are coming in and going out, so that we can
Ah,
create policies to say, hey, wait a second, that agent should not call that MCP server. So that's why it's so important to have these agents in a controlled runtime environment, so that we can monitor what it's thinking.
so